Alright guys, hopefully y'all can hear me more better than because of the first video, or the first race that I did of this. But this right here, as y'all can see, is the 6th round of my 1990 championship. For those that don't know, and may not have been able to hear from the first one, but from the 5th round of this championship, I don't have any, especially now, I don't have any of the footage from the first 4. Or 5 to be exact. Reason behind that is because... Did I say 5? I think I meant to say 4. First 4. Reason behind that is because I ended up deleting the footage due to not having enough storage to save any other races. And I kind of needed to do that in order to add more footage, plus to upload them on the YouTube and whatnot. So I kind of deleted it. Not to mention, even though I was going to make a whole video to kind of get people up to speed on it, I was just too lazy. And plus, with the Mario Kart video that I released recently, please watch it. Unfortunately, I just didn't have the time. Or not so much the time, but it was just I just didn't feel motivated whatsoever. But as you can see, this is Hockenheim, the older circuit, the 1988 layout, because it's the closest that I can get anyways. But also, it's the only version, at least, that I can think of the 1990 Hockenheim layout. But I think this would be. It wouldn't be any other layout for it anyway, so yeah. But yeah, for those that don't know, I won't go over the details because honestly I don't feel like really explaining it, but or actually no, maybe I will. So the first round of this championship, for those that don't know, except for those that may have actually tried to hear we're able to hear my dialogue under the loud engines that is these F1 cars. The first round I went and did the first round of this race mainly because I tried doing a 1991 season and it didn't work out well, plus I was very impatient. And because of my impatience, I just went straight on to 1990 to kind of like help me prepare for the 1991 season, because I felt like I need more experience of some sort. But either way, I was leading all the way from the start, and I practically just about lapped everybody, I believe. That was until I crashed on lap 69, because I did doing the full distance. I think it was like 71 laps at Interlagos, and I crashed. I made a crash, so I crawled all the way back to the pits. As soon as I came out, Nelson Piquet and who else? Nelson Piquet and I'm already forgetting the names. Thierry Boutsen had gone ahead of me, and it was not enough time to catch up, unfortunately. But so I finished third, and I found out, actually, I could be wrong, but I think that was the same place Senna got in real life, but I might be mistaken. It's been a while. And I'm trying to think. I got into then the second round, which was Imola. Let's just say I would have won that race if safety cars were not a thing, because the game pretty much just I don't know all the words to use it. Screwed me over. It just like ruined my race at the end. And because of that, I had to, unfortunately I had, because my tires were cold, and I think my tires were cold, and I think my brakes were very cold. And so I had like zero grip, and I was very much pressured by the drivers behind, Cross specifically being behind me. And what ended up happening was I crashed because of it. And It was not pleasant. I didn't like it. And I got back up, tried to catch back up, and I would have if the cars were not in this like train like configuration or layout. I don't know how to really word it. But because of it, I was not able to um because of that I made a mistake into one of the turns and I pushed the car off the track and they took to try and catch up. And by then I at least the best I was able to do with that race was finish in 6th place. It was really unfortunate. Really, really unfortunate, but it was what it was. I couldn't do anything about it. And with that, then came Monaco, and I was able to turn off the rules and penalties thing because like that kind of bothered my race, especially with a track like Monaco. I did not want that happening again. And so the race was really stupid. I didn't even save the replay of that one because it was really, really ridiculous. Plus, I don't think my computer would have handled it. I don't know. But either way, I deleted it. Or not deleted, I didn't save it, like, at all. And then I went and I finished that race. I beat that race after being so ridiculously stupid. And then Montreal, that one was the more, let's say, legit race, I would say, even though there was a safety car and whatnot. Because I didn't know at the time that there were no safety cars in F1 at the time. But I had it on anyway, and I couldn't deactivate it. All I could do was turn off rules and penalties, but I wanted those on for the sake of immersion. And to make it fair, so I don't try cutting corners and whatnot, but I don't think it would have made a difference to that, whether I had it on or not. But that's just me. And so I was leading the race like by a huge gap until I tried passing a back marker, and back markers are really stupid, or at least the AI when they're back markers. And because of that, I unfortunately went off the track. Or not went off the track. I hit one of the cars trying to overtake them, and I kind of sent and it was right before you get to the pits is where I crashed. It was on that straightaway. And then I went and what did I do? I'm trying to focus while also looking at the race at the same time. I then went and I'm just trying to change this. Yeah, I went and went to the pits, and I was in there for like a whole minute to repair the entirety of the car. And when I did that, I was back in 16th place, and then the safety car pretty much just gave me the advantage to catch back up. By the time it was the end of the race, it was like 70 laps. If I'm correct, Gerhard Berger, my teammate, was in front of me, and I ended up passing him. Okay, this is... I just had to watch that. And so this kind of put me and Gerhard Berger in like the top of the list, I guess, except for one other car. But because I didn't have the mods at that time, like the mods you see on the screen right now, because I didn't have them at the time, I unfortunately did not. The layout was different. Ultimately, Nelson McKay would have been in the top like 2, but he wasn't, or at least not anymore. Or technically he wasn't now. At least now it's not the case. But either way, he wasn't there, and so it was somebody. No, it's somebody else, which unfortunately I wouldn't really be able to show you because you don't see the results. I don't really have a way of showing you the results, and I'm recording this to NVIDIA. But either way, anyway, and I won that race, and now we have, or not now, then you have the Silverstone race, which I already uploaded on YouTube, so just watch that and everything, and the loud, obnoxious F1 cars. But, those are like the first 4 races. And now, granted, also I didn't really have the difficulty out that high either. Okay, goodness. And so I'm losing at each other. And now, okay, well, alright, I just thought, alright, so now I'm going to talk about this race because that's what this whole race is about. This whole commentary is about. At least for now, until I decide to turn it off. Oh my gosh. Dang. Okay, that explains the gap. The large, obnoxious gap. Okay, the minority went off the track. Is that illusion? I don't remember. No, it's somebody else. No, it wasn't, what? I don't remember. I do not remember any of these dudes. Oof. Alright, well. But yeah, it was, this race was pretty hectic, I guess. Maybe, yeah, I would say it was hectic. Mainly because of the crashes, I guess, because yes, I did crash. I can't seem to go a race without them. I mean, I have, but it's really hard to avoid for me to do that. Either way, I still come out on top. Unfortunately, though, I did turn down the difficulty because of my mistakes. I recognized that I kind of put at risk the race. Either way, I still would like to turn up the difficulty at some point, though, because it just makes me feel bad though that I have to turn on the difficulty. I just don't like it. But when it happens, it happens. For now, I'm just dealing with the difficulty 95 because I'm just not ready yet to deal with the harder AI. Because it's like Rise Studios has made it harder, but that's the thing I gotta work on eventually. But as the championship proceeds on, I will turn the difficulty. But yeah, this race was really interesting though too. And and as you can tell, I was like in first for like majority of the race. Of course, I came to a point where I crashed because I'm a brick. I make mistakes and stuff like that. To do it in Senna's car, it is very embarrassing, yes, but it's like I can't really avoid it. I really can't. It's not that I have to be perfect all the time, which as much as I would love to, it would actually make this race too easy if I did. And either way, oh yeah, this was fine. So still trying to learn the flipping the throttle while downshifting thing, and to do that on Hockenheim, yeah, really difficult. But either way, I still pull it off. At least later, anyways. But either way, still hard. Oh, yes. Freaking Burger Van. I forgot about that. But yeah, this is a difficult race because it seemed like the majority of the drivers were either just going really slow on the turn. I mean, yeah, remember like on the series, I think this is because I was distracted, but it's like some of the turns they were just going kind of slow, and then when they approach the turns, they're just like rapid quick for some reason. But yeah, Um, yeah, I practiced a lot doing this race though, and more like I practiced on this track. And then I did a whole nother race, which I might upload to the channel at some point when I have more time to record it. But it was a really nice race though, especially this one because especially after all the crashes I went through, all the spinning out and everything. Even though yeah, I could just like reset my car and everything. I don't think I reset my car all that much in this race, but I could be wrong. And either way though, like I was making this tremendous comeback to the Williams up ahead. And which honestly shocked me because, you know, the cars were yeah, it's hard to think too because I'm looking at the screen and I'm trying to talk at the same time. I'm not used to it. Not used to it at all. And the back numbers weren't really that big of a problem for this race, I don't think. Unless I'm thinking of I'm thinking of a different race actually. Never mind. Which that race I'm looking for. But either way though, it was really hard to stay stay focused, but also it's really hard to catch up because as you can tell from the gap on the top left, I was like 9 seconds from the person in first. And I think for the first time though, like in a while, I had actually developed some level of patience with the back markers, like I'm actually getting around them. However way that works, I have no idea. I mean, but it really helped though. Oh my gosh, dang. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, honestly, I'm kind of disappointed that stuff got possibles too, because like I really wish you could just win one race at least. I don't know when that'll happen. I don't know if that ever will happen, but it just kind of irks me the stuff that he has to go through just to try and go through this race. Like he's in 5th place now. There's no way he's catching me in 5th place. Now, granted though, in real life, I don't think he actually finished the race. Or no, maybe no. I think maybe he did, but I don't remember. I was watching the race what a few days ago, yesterday I think it was. I don't remember finishing it though. But yeah, it was a really good race though. I was like trying to catch up to the Williams. That was like my main focus for like a few laps until what lap 17. But and it was the craziest of turnaround, and it was the craziest turnaround too. I just the way it ended, I was not expecting it to. It was an interesting race. Yeah, I can't really think of anything else to really say because I'm already forgetting the stuff that happened on this race though, honestly. But I'm gonna just keep it on Patrese because for the most part, this race kind of, how do you say, I don't know what to really say about this race. It's really, I kind of just, all I really focus on is recording it and getting certain angles in and everything, like this one. But I'm also in Patrase's perspective because this dude, I don't know what it is about Patrese, but this dude is a legit punk for some reason. I mean, even before when I was doing the Silverstone race like months ago, maybe I was gonna say a year, but no, not a year ago. Months ago. When I was trying to do this race months ago, I swear this dude was a legitimate determined punk to actually push me off or to spin me out. It really got on my nerves. I don't know why he decided to do that, but he did. And this one, he did the same thing. It really irked me. I don't know what that guy's problem is, but really annoying. And I just realized that Mansell is actually far more back than I thought. Jeez. Starting off Suzuki, apparently. Also Mansell too. Mansell just is having the roughest time too. Like, Gosh, dang, it's not a pleasant one. But not a pleasant time. Him and Prost, even though Prost is in fifth and he's in the 14th, still, so we can't get one race. This is literally like the 1991 season, where we just couldn't get a single win, or Prost, anyways. But anyways, um, it was a hectic race, really hectic race. But it was one of those races though that I didn't have to literally restart the next day too. Like I just went on here to race on it, and I had to restart. I forgot why. I think it's because of how it started. And yeah, because I spun out. I think I don't, or something like that. Maybe got spun out. I don't really remember. But eventually, but it led to me um being in the back, and then I tried catching back up, and it just wasn't going well at all. But yeah, I really hope y'all can hear me though, because man, it would really suck if y'all didn't hear me right now. But yeah, but just watch this part. I'm pretty sure this is when the crazy does the stupid. I don't really remember. Maybe this isn't it. I don't remember. Okay, it's not it. Never mind. Oof, my goodness. But then he might do it later. I really don't remember. I'm pretty sure I think that's when it was. But maybe it wasn't Patrese. Maybe it was Dixon. I don't remember. I'm pretty sure it was Patrese. I'm very, very sure. You're gonna see what I'm talking about later. And the other thing about Hockenheim though, this track it was really hard to nail the turns. When I watched the real life footage of Senna and Nannini driving through these tracks, it was like or not driving through this track, like taking the turns and everything. I was like not so much shocked, but it was like wow. You know, like the way they were taking the turns and everything, it was like really impressive. But yeah, I knew I was never gonna top that. Not even really get close to how they took it, because like they were more fluent than I am. But it was a really interesting race though, and it wasn't the first time I raced on this track, but maybe I'd say the first time I've raced with these cars though. But yeah, I really can't think of anything else to say. And still, I'd say one of the greatest turnarounds to this race, I guess. It was like, I know I didn't need to win, but I wasn't expecting the race to end the way it did. Either way, alright, looks like Mansell got past Suzuki. That's impressive of him. I don't know when he retired or whatnot, but yeah. Also, Donnelly was driving the... Oh, shoot! What happened to his car? Alright. Wait, go back to... Alright, yep, just don't. There you go. Jeez, who does that? But, yeah, no, okay, I believe, though, I do remember eventually catching up to Patrese and Boutsen. But, yeah, I did turn down the volume to be lower though, so y'all can hear me. And still hear the game, of course. But yeah, yeah, I really can't think of anything else to say, so I might as well just stop commentating, because I really can't think of anything else to say. Oh, you know what? Okay, there's one more thing I guess I could think of is when it came to this race, trying to like downshift and moving the throttle was really difficult. Yet, weirdly enough, it was one of the easier courses to drive, because I usually struggle on this track. On tracks that have low downforce, I usually struggle on. But this one, I mean, with all the practice I went through, especially because like what I typically like to do, not all the time, but what I typically like to do is I like to I like to practice in the rain, not racing it. I really should race in it though more often. I usually try to practice in the rain so that I can get a handle on the car in the rain, and also it helps me handle the dry portion as well. It's really nice touch though, on it, or not really nice touch, but it's like it really helps me. At the same time, when it comes to this track, I'd say I could have gone a little more faster in racing this because at the same time there isn't really any much time left. Plus, I kind of learned that practicing by yourself, like with no cars on the track, kind of puts you in a sort of kind of it builds in my muscle memory to think that I'm driving alone when that obviously isn't the case. So it's like when I drive around other drivers, it just goes wrong. I didn't want that happening. Either way, practice doing private tests though to learn the track is very helpful. But at the same time, I would rather just practice with cars on the track, which is what I'm going to do for the next race. Speaking of which, next race will not is not on the next race I'll be adding will is not exactly the part of the championship. So it'll just be like an extra race that I'll also commentate. And I'm gonna be doing something different with that race as well, which you guys will see. Um, until then, just enjoy this one, I hope. This one was a really interesting race, considering the fact that chasing the Williams, I didn't expect expect it to go the way it did and everything. It was really shocking. But either way, it was a good race, I guess. Yeah, it was a good race. Yeah, thanks for listening to my stuttering commentary and whatnot. And I'll see y'all hopefully in the next video. Something else I suddenly forgot to mention, because I just forgot entirely, is that because I had a pause. I don't know if you noticed, but like there was like these like little lag stutter or whatever. And the reason what you just saw, the reason why it happened is because I had to stop and leave to do something. Then when I came back, my mind wasn't fully collected to the race, so that's why that crash happened. Now the first one, which was around this area, the turn that you see myself approaching to. Yeah, this here, that was fundamentally just the mistake I made, because can't seem to focus all the freaking time. Either way, I was still able to stay in first for the time being, but when I came back, that's why I had that engine stall. That's why I had that engine stall. And it's also why trying to remember, yeah, it's why I had that engine stall, and that's why I hit that wall, because I wasn't really paying attention. I wasn't fully focused into the race. Meanwhile, these two punks just like fighting each other. But yeah, so I didn't realize that Bootson had actually, retired because of the legendary. I had like 0 for. But yeah, it goes to show you. Oh yeah, I guess well, I'm not perfect. You can see that I make fundamentally make mistakes like this in the race. Which is really obvious because I don't. But the obvious reason for that is mainly because I didn't practice enough to do that to not make those mistakes. Either way, even though I was still in fourth either way. Yeah, it wasn't it wasn't an easy race, or it wasn't a hard race, but it wasn't an easy one either. Now, this is the lap where I went into the pits. Because I had been running on softs the entire race, and for the most part it worked. At the same time, I probably could have, if I really was that big and smart, I probably could have just wore like maybe like mediums or hards. Now hards is like I never really raced too much on hards, or hardly ever raced on hards, which is maybe something I should probably pick up doing if I know a track like this isn't really going to have that much downforce and whatnot, so maybe hard would be nice, but at the same time, I was afraid that it would ruin performance throughout the race. So, um, so if I really had to pick, I'd probably go with mediums next time, but if there will be a next time as far as this race is concerned. But, yeah, the thing is, I strategized that I would have been farther ahead with making my pit stop that, like, I wouldn't have a problem. Yeah. There's so much that I wouldn't have to deal with two drivers up behind me. So unfortunately, though, it didn't go well. I unfortunately had to deal with the fact that they had to pass me, and it really sucked though because I was hoping for like a victory on this one. Spoiler alert, but I didn't get that victory. But you'd be shocked to see who it was that did. But obviously it wasn't over yet. There's at least one other thing I could do, which was compete for the podium. And honestly, the way it turned out, I was honestly shocked to see because it was not what I expected. Not what I expected at all. But it was a really fun fight, I guess, maybe. It was really quite fun. Either way, still came out really good. So I'm going to give over the perspective to Prost because what happens to him honestly shocked me. You know, having just seen that, I'm not gonna lie, I was not expecting. I didn't even know that. Obviously, I didn't know that happened, but I thought Berger had gone further down the track simply because he's faster, not because he just did what you just saw. I did not expect that at all, and I rarely see something like that, anyways. But at least to my memory, anyways, that's usually the case. But ew, like that was honestly shocking to see. Oh, and also I'm realizing that. Okay, so what happened? Hansel's still in the race apparently. Congrats to that guy. And these two, I can't freaking spectate on because of stupid camera angles. Okay. But yeah, issue. They're like the side characters pretty much of this race. Back to Prost. So yeah, I'm a brick. I think to do is I end up focusing on the car. I end up focusing on the cars in front of me. Hence why I went straight into the wall like that, like you just saw. I keep doing that. I lose track of I lose not lose track. I just lose my focus. Very unpleasant. Very unpleasant. But it mainly happened because of that. But yeah, it put a like sort of not really a pause, but like a oh no for second place. Um, but it still was not over.